Hello and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Today, I will be doing a recap of Married to Medicine, Season 12, Episode 4, Trouble at Serenity Villa. Okay, so let's get into it. So, this week's episode 4, picked back up with Simone and all of her married woes. Okay, so let me just start off by saying when Simone said, I have been so frustrated with my family and the way Cecil has not had my back. This is a clear indication that my marriage is not in the right place. I felt that in my soul. Okay. I almost shed a tear because it sounded like some long standing, simmering hurt that Simone has been experiencing as of late. Okay. And it also showed all over her face. She can't hide it anymore. She can't be quiet about it anymore. And unfortunately, this show is called Married to Medicine. So Cecil and Curtis are playing their roles, okay? And they're depending on their wives that are doctors, okay? And they have seemingly retired on these ladies. So I know how stressful that can be because even though they are getting, up there in age, like in Simone's case, Cecil has two adult sons that still depend on them very heavily. So this is not the time for Cecil to not be working. And on top of that, the fact that your wife is pretty much financing you and your kids, you would think that at the least, Cecil, you would at least have her back. I'm just saying, that's the least that you can do. Okay. These wives are expected to carry their husbands and the family, but it looks like one of them is tired. Okay. Simone has three times the burden because she is taking care of three grown ass men. And I can only imagine what that feels like for her. So after Quad was the one who off, who popped off Simone's crash out because Simone was literally crashing out. She kept trying to Simone and tell her to like pipe down, be quiet, or whatever the case may be. But quiet, we have seen you do way worse. We have seen you drunk on lots of these episodes, quiet. And I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to get it out. And I don't see anything wrong with Simone choosing to just get it out amongst her friends, especially when most of her friends are married. Okay. So Dr. Heavenly pulled Simone to the side, and Dr. Heavenly and Simone had a real sincere conversation because at this point, they both need a shoulder to cry on. I'm just saying, because what they are going through right now, they're basically going through the same thing. Okay. But what I can't understand is why they are shading each other on social media. Now, I've been out of the loop, you know. Thanks, Mama Bees, for letting me know that you can hear me. I have been out of the loop. So I know that I seen that Dr. Heavenly was low key shading Simone and saying that, the crash out with Simone was a lot worse than what we actually saw play out on TV. And then I know that I've heard Simone, I want to say she went on, what's the name of that podcast? The one where the girl used to be on The Breakfast Club, Angela Yee. I want to say that's where I seen it. Because, like I said, I was probably scrolling through my phone because I've been a little bit out of the loop, busy, got some, things going on. But yeah, they are actually shading each other on social media when they need to be there to lift each other up because they're basically going through the same thing. Dr. Heavenly did share with Simone that when she found out that, her son went to prison, which she's trying to make the public think that she didn't know about it. But Simone said in one of her interviews that Dr. Heavenly knew about it the whole time, which felt like Dr. Heavenly knew about it the whole time. But Dr. Heavenly has just been proven to be a liar, okay? She's been proven to be a liar. She does not want to talk about her own personal family business, but she wants to exploit everybody else's family business. So that's just her MO, okay? So this group of ladies is tired of Dr. Heavenly and her speaking on them on social media. So they are starting to call her out. Because basically, at the end of the day, Simone and Heavenly are going through the woes of being a boy mom, okay? And how men and women handle shit differently when it comes to the kids. Like a lot of times, we don't agree on, you know, raising the kids or how we handle different situations when it comes to the kids, especially our sons. So, moving on to Toya and Eugene, which is the highlight of this live. Okay. Let's talk about Toya's statement. So, Toya asked Eugene, what exactly is making you feel like you need to work yourself to your until you're so exhausted and drive 5 hours away to go to work? So I have to try to put this as nice as I possibly can, because am I missing a job that Toya has outside of this show? You know, because that's what it's giving. Because I really want to ask Toya, is she dumb? Okay. Toya, look at your extravagant lifestyle. And whatever money you're making from this show, you are spending it all back on your extravagant lifestyle. So you are either breaking even or you're in the hole. So that's not even worth mentioning the fact that you're on this show. Okay. There are several doctors on this show, and none of them have the extravagant lives and the extravagant house that Toya and Eugene have. So, what that tells me is that you're living beyond your means, okay? Because there's only one doctor in your household. And as far as I know, Toya, you don't have a job or let's say a 9 to 5 to speak of. And I've said this before, Toya has the best husband on this show. Not considering the new ladies because I don't really know them that well. They really haven't, introduced their husbands, to the point where, I can say whether they're, good husbands or not. So I'm just speaking on the OGs. And like I said, Toya has the best husband on this show. And it's just such a shame that she has to be the one, that he has to be the one out there busting his ass. Meanwhile, She wants to be the one in charge. Like, why do you get to be the one that makes the decision about where my office is, where I see my patients? Like, Toya, girl, you need to pipe down. Like, I don't know what you want from your husband. He's doing everything he can. And we're going to kind of get into some things that I have started to notice about Eugene. So, guys, as you're coming in, please hit the like button as you're coming in, please, and thank you. And if you're in the bushes, no problem. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. And, if you want to support the channel, you can send a super thanks, a cash app, a super sticker, whatever the case may be. So, knowing what their household expenses look like, I'm not sure why Toya doesn't understand that working long hours out of town is the sacrifice that her husband is currently making for their family. Okay? I'm not sure what part about that Toya doesn't get. Okay? Eugene is very patient with Toya, but now it seems like he's also being very stern with Toya. Okay. And maybe that has something to do with the fact that they have had to move 7 times. Like they're on their seventh house since they, started being on this show. And I don't know why that is, but it just seems a little ridiculous to me. Okay. So the bottom line, Toya, like Eugene said, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like Toya wants to live this extravagant lifestyle. She wants to be able to show off a fabulous closet with designer clothes and shoes and purses, handbags. But she also wants her man at home with her and the kids. Like your husband has tried to explain it to you, Toya, in every way possible. The only way to make this work is for me to work out of town and work these long hours because ER doctors are in high demand, but maybe just not in their local area. So he's doing whatever he has to make his wife happy. Shout out to Mimi and Steve, who looks like they are doing a great job raising a son with special needs. Now, this is the first time we've gotten to see, a little intel about Mimi and Steve's family life and meet their kids and find out that they do have a special needs son. So, shout out to them for that because we all know that it really does take a special person with unbelievable patience to manage those type of responsibilities, okay? And it kind of makes me look at them in a whole different light, okay? Because I know in the past, I've probably been a little harsh on Mimi. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it just seems like she tries too hard. It just doesn't come natural for her. At least not like Brandy. Like Brandy was just introduced to the show, but Brandy's personality seems very natural. She has a natural, cool personality. And for some reason, I just felt like in the past, Mimi was trying a little bit too hard. But now I just feel like I want to give Mimi some grace, knowing that, she does have a son with autism. Okay. Now, I do have a question. Does kids with special needs, particularly autism, get spankings? I'm asking for a friend. Okay. I'm just curious because the way her son popped his sister, you know, I'm thinking that, I don't know, because, some people don't like to spank their kids, and then they definitely don't like to spank their kids if they have special needs. But that daughter, she lit right back up into his ass, okay? And she got her lit back, okay? So that seems like something that they taught her to do because she didn't get into any trouble when she hit her brother back, okay? So that tells me that he does that all the time. And I will be the type of parent to tell my, child, if your brother hits you, hit him back because he can't think that that's okay. Even though he's special needs, he has to know that there are consequences when you decide that you want to hit people. So, Toya and Eugene are in party planning mode. And I think Eugene, he was able to play a part in the planning of this party because he did mention that he was going to be off for a week, maybe 6, 7 days or whatever. So, they are in party planning mode, getting ready to host a skip workday party. Now, I don't know how Toya comes up with these ideas, but that is so freaking cute. I love the way, she came up with this idea for party. Hey, Paula, thank you so much for being here. Um, Now at this point, it looks like Toya and Eugene are working together to host this party at this point. Okay. So now let's get to those group messages. So, the ladies of the cast, they have a group text message. And Dr. Heavenly and Toya was being very shady in those text messages. So those group messages were shady as hell, but that's what Toya gets, okay? You never discuss the size of your man's penis with another woman or anybody for that matter. I mean, even if you have a male best friend or whatever the case may be, you should not be discussing the size of your man's penis with anybody, okay? So basically, Toya talks too much. And Dr. Heavenly, she might be in a little trouble as well because she was advertising on a national TV show that her man got a big peen. Like, who does that? There has already been cheating allegations, and there are some thirsty bitches out here. Like, these pygmishas are diabolical. Okay. So, Dr. Heavenly, the last thing you need to do is to be bragging about the fact that your husband has a big peen. And I know you're trying to get back at Toya because she said that your purse was fake or whatever the case may be, and you guys were going back and forth. But girl, you better get some better reads because using your husband's peen as a clapback, that just ain't it. So, what did you guys think about Toya's closet with the cherry blossom tree? As for me, it's different and I guess it's a nice touch. Like, Toya really does think outside of the box because I just can't imagine how she came up with that. Okay. But the ladies seem to love it. I love Toya's closet, the name brand, bags, shoes, whatever the case may be. Just don't see how the hell she can afford it. When, for instance, there's two doctors in Heavenly's household, but Dr. Heavenly is carrying fake bags. Like, Toya, you really doing too much. Like, you spending up all that man's money as quick as he can make it, you spending it all up. And that's ridiculous. Like, you really need to consider your husband, your marriage, your kids, and your priorities. Now, did y'all hear when Quad said that they were having the conversation of, when the man walked out in the underwear to serve the salad bowls. Okay. Did y'all hear when Quad said that? I think let me see. Dr. Heavenly was telling Jackie to look at the guy or whatever the case may be. And Quad replied and said that that man don't want nothing Jackie got. And Quad was basically insinuating that the male server was Gay. Now, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black when it has been alleged that she is in a whole lavender relationship and or a fake relationship for a storyline? Come on, Quad. Make it make sense. You need to hush your ass up, girl, the way they talking about you out here. So at that point, the party was still going as planned until Toya wanted to play a game. Okay. She said that the game would determine how in shape you are. And it was in that moment that I seen the look of disgust on Eugene's face. Let me go ahead and remove that comment. First of all, your husband struggles with his weight. Why would you choose that game and say those words? Like, Toya always low key be trying to shade her own damn husband. As good of a husband as she has. I believe that Eugene was already in his feelings and had an underlying issue about their financial situations because they did show a scene, where they were discussing that when he told her that she can't have her cake and eat it too. But, but, given the theme of the party, I thought that Eugene's clapback was perfect. And it was obviously planned because he just happened to have a prescription pad. So when Toya, mentioned that she wanted to play this game, Eugene said that he was going to write all of the men's scripts so that they didn't have to participate. He was basically giving them an excuse because of the theme of the party. You know, I thought it was cute. It was very fitting. And with that being said, when Toya said, Eugene, can you be the leader of your house and lead your friends to the side? That was Eugene's cue to step back into host mode, but he missed the boat. Okay. So, guys, I'm going to give you guys a quick story time because this whole episode made me think back to a time when I was in a very similar situation. Okay. I was very young, thank God, because, you know, you should make all your mistakes when you're young, in your early 20s, whatever the case may be. So, me and my boyfriend at the time, my kid's father, um, we were hosting a block party and we invited all of our family members to take a trip to Tampa, Florida, because that's where I was living at the time. And we were hosting our families, our family members, and then also my neighbors. Okay. So there was a little bit of tension in our relationship before anybody showed up, before he even showed up, because at the time we weren't living together. He was just coming to visit. Okay. So we were hosting this party and there was a little tension in our relationship. So once everybody showed up, he wasn't helping. Okay. I was doing all of the work. He was just hanging with the guys, probably drinking, whatever the case may be. Okay. So because we already had an underlying issue that spilled over into this party. It did not go well, okay? Because I was pissed off. And once everybody actually left, like I was so annoyed with him that I didn't even want to be inside the house, okay? So I was actually sitting outside in front of the house on the car talking to a neighbor, avoiding going inside because I was just that pissed off at him. So while I was sitting outside on the car with the neighbor, chatting it up, I seen him go behind the house like he was taking out the trash, whatever the case may be. I found out later that he had knocked on my neighbor's door. Okay. So my neighbor never answered her door or whatever the case. But I found out months later that, my dude knocked on my neighbor's door or whatever the case may be. So I say all that to say there may be a nicer way for Toya to say what she said, but when you are being tested and put on the spot, sometimes you can't pretty shit up. Okay? Just can't pretty that shit up. So, in my opinion, in this particular situation, Toya was not wrong. Okay? She was not wrong at all. When you are hosting, you have to go along to get along because the last thing you want to do is argue in front of your guests and ruin a great party. When couples argue, it makes everyone, all of your guests, feel uncomfortable. And instead of having a great time, now everyone is trying to fix the problem. Everyone is over there trying to console Toya. People are trying to talk to Eugene. Now the whole entire nice, expensive party done went left. Then the guests started talking about divorce. Yeah, the single ladies are winning. Okay. That D word has been brought up too many times in one episode. And what I'm starting to realize on this show, Simone is not happy in her marriage. Dr. Heavenly is not happy in her marriage. Dr. Jackie is not happy in her marriage. And now we find out that Toya is not happy in her marriage. So I'm sorry, but in my experience, I'm going to have to side with Toya on this one. Now, does that mean that I agree with everything that Toya does? Not at all. But in this particular situation, I will have to side with Toya. During this entire party, Toya has been greeting guests, making sure people got food, drinks, giving house tours. Meanwhile, Eugene has sat on his ass the entire time with a drink in his hand. Okay? And I get it. A lot of husbands, they think that when they're hosting parties, that's their job to sit around and drink with the guys and let the wives do all the damn work. But that's not the case. This is a team effort. And please don't say that Toya was drunk. She was too busy to focus on drinking from what I seen. Okay. But Eugene's lips says it all. It looks like he has been doing a lot of drinking. I don't know if you guys noticed Eugene's lips. Now, if you look at the picture on the screen, his lips look fine. But in this particular episode, I actually have screenshots. Eugene's inner lip is starting to turn bright red. And that is a sign of excessive drinking, okay? So while Eugene has been working out of town, it looks like he's been stressed the fuck out, okay? I don't know if he's tired. He's tired of traveling. 5 hours is a long commute to work, okay? Just to keep up this extravagant lifestyle. So, with that being said, I think Eugene did start to feel bad about the way things went left. And he tried to downplay the situation. And he said that it's easy for him to get hot, for them to get hot. The way he was saying that, I don't know, it sounded a little weird, you know. But I also noticed that after he tried to go and talk to Toya when she said that, she was going to go and fix her makeup, because she was just done, with speaking to Eugene at that point. When Eugene went to sit back down, I did notice that yet again, he had another fresh drink in his hand. Okay. But again, in Eugene's defense, he did admit that he should have read the room a little better because Toya has been super stressed about having everybody over. So apparently, this is everybody's first time coming to the home. And, they just got a new home. So I'm pretty sure that their funds are spread thin right about now because the first thing you have to do after purchasing a new home is you have to furnish the new home. Okay. And we all know that outside of what Toya's getting paid for this show, she doesn't have a 9 to 5. Okay. So that might have been where some of the stress came from. And on top of that, Toya always have very extravagant parties. But from what I seen, she didn't spend a lot of money on that party. Not this time. She normally does. But again, the funds might be low since they just purchased a new home. And Mama B said, I feel like if she wants to have a party, then she should have done everything. That man is feeling unappreciated. It's a good point, Mama Bees. And I get it. I mean, to some degree, I agree with that, but he was going to be off for an entire week. Like, she really didn't require much from Eugene when it came to this party. She only asked Eugene to do one thing, and that was to be a leader and encourage his friends to play the game. Okay. And just like Toya said, maybe he got offended when she used the word leader because he's insecure, you know, about being a leader and he doesn't feel like he's a leader in his home. I don't know. That's what Toya said. So maybe you shouldn't have chose that word because you already know that your husband feels insecure and you know that you act like you're the one that's in charge. Okay? So Toya called out Dr. Heavenly and Mimi. And to be honest, they were doing too much. Okay. Toya said Eugene was more focused on what the fuck you hater bitches think. Now, let me say this. That was a lot, Toya. That was very harsh, especially speaking on your party guests that way. But I get it. You're over it. You're tired. You're tired of Dr. Heavenly. I'm not really sure why she's still earning a check being on this show because, again, she's still not talking about anything she has going on in her personal life and still focusing on everybody else's drama instead of her own. And Mama B said She puts him down at every turn. I have no empathy for her. And you're absolutely right. I totally agree. She does find low key ways to shade her own husband. So when Toya, was, calling her guests bitches, whatever the case may be, Heavenly went to looking around like, she looking at me like, yes, biatch, because even though you have been demoted to a friend of the show, you are still keeping up all the shit, Dr. Heavenly. Make it make sense. And on top of that, you're running for office. Like, this will be the perfect time for you to tone it down. Like, I'm to be honest, I don't even think that Dr. Heavenly is going to go through with running for this office because for me, in my opinion, she gets more joy out of being shady. Okay. That, you know, politics, that just seems a little bit too boring for Dr. Heavenly. It just doesn't seem like it's her thing. Dr. Heavenly likes to talk, she likes to gossip, and she likes to throw shade. Okay. That's her comfort zone. And people always seem to pull the drunk card when they are called out on their BS. And that's the first thing Heavenly wants to call out is the fact that she thought that Toya was drunk. We've seen you drunk plenty of times, Dr. Heavenly. Okay. Talking shit. And in my opinion, Toya didn't appear to be drunk. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think, but Toya didn't seem to be drunk. Toya was too busy. She was too aggravated, too pissed off. I'm pretty sure that every time Toya did pick up a drink, she couldn't even focus on that drink because her mind was elsewhere and she probably forgot that she was even drinking. That's how I get sometimes. And let me say this about Eugene, in my opinion, Mama Bees, and I respect what you're saying about Eugene, but I'm going to say this. Eugene is a horrible host. As Eugene's friends was coming over to dap him up and say their goodbyes, Eugene stayed sitting down, okay? He never got up to walk anybody out. Like, come on. Like, I just don't feel like, when you host parties as a married couple, that the wife has to do all the work. That's just, I don't believe in that. Like, he pretty much sat down the entire time. The only time Eugene got up that they showed on the show is when he went to confront Toya and speak to her when things went left. Outside of that, Eugene never got his ass up, okay? And I like what Damon said when they were leaving, when Eugene didn't walk him out. Damon said, Eugene's my friend and Toya is cool with me. So I'd rather leave. It's not in hatred or anything. It's in respect. And to me, that was absolutely the perfect thing to say. And when they see, this episode play out, they'll be able to respect that. Unlike some of the things that some of their third party guests said. Because for one, he's not defending his wife heavenly on her BS. And for two, he's just staying out of people's business. Okay. And sometimes I really wonder how Damon puts up with Dr. Heavenly because he just seems to be the total opposite of Dr. Heavenly. And like Eugene, he seems to be a good guy. I'm going to say that. In Toya's confessional, she said, cut the snake off at the head. Period. I totally agree. So, this is what I want y'all to take away from this video. If you are hosting a, hosting as a couple, especially a married couple, you damn near have to have a contract in place about expectations. And I know that sounds like a little bit too much, but the thing about it is, I'm a planner. And when I'm entertaining and I'm hosting parties and shit, I don't play. Okay. Like, I'm in a whole nother mode. Like, there's no time for error. Like, I enjoy my events, my parties, whatever the case may be, but I like things to go well. I like things to be organized, and I like my guests to have an amazing time. So, what that means for me, that means for me to be very attentive of my guests. That means that I'm going to spend time with each and every one of my guests. Toya can't do that on her own. So that means that Eugene has to, entertain the guys, make sure the guys have what they need, walk some people to the door, open the door for some people instead of just sitting there just getting drunk the entire time. Like, when you're hosting, it's not the time to get drunk, okay? Men, they will abandon you when hosting parties, okay? So instead of it being a team effort, now you end up doing all the work. Never host a party with unresolved issues. It will spill over into your event. So if you and your mate are not in a good place, don't host no damn parties, okay? Wait till things are better before you decide to host a party. Or make sure that everything is resolved before your party. And if you have to, just make an agreement. Look, I know we got some things going on. Let's just get through this party and we'll deal with it after the party. Mama B says she totally disrespected him in front of everybody, in front of everyone. I would have ignored her hours too. Okay. And that was clear from the guests. They were shocked. Okay. They were shocked. But think I'm just a different kind of person. Okay. I embarrass you where you embarrass me. And I felt like Eugene was embarrassing her, in my opinion. And the most important thing that I can leave you with, because you have to have a teachable moment, especially when watching these shows. Okay. You have to turn this drama into a teachable moment. Never, under any circumstances, and this goes back to what you said, Mama Bees, never embarrass or disrespect your mate in front of anyone. Okay. Now, when it comes to that, I don't feel like Toya really embarrassed Eugene. Toya was trying to get her party under control. That's what Toya was trying to do. So, in that moment, Toya felt embarrassed. Okay. So, whatever Eugene was feeling, Toya was feeling the same thing. And the fact that Toya was the one that was holding things down, that's why, again, I have to side with Toya on this. Okay. Now, this was a great episode. If I had to rate it, I probably would give it a 9 out of 10. And it probably would have been a 10 out of 10 if the guests had the opportunity to actually get in the pool, or at least enjoy themselves after making the effort to show up. Okay. It's bad enough when someone else shows their ass at your party, but when you show out at your own party, knowing all of the time, effort, and money you put into the party, that's crazy work, in my opinion. Okay. So, guys, I'm actually going to end on that note again. This was a great episode. Yeah, it was a great episode. I'm enjoying getting to know the new ladies. They seem to fit right in to all the drama. So, we'll just have to see what happens. I'm looking forward to get to know is her name Angel? I mean, she really hasn't said much. I can barely remember her name. Brittany is, she's making herself known and seen. So, you know, I'm getting to know her a little bit more. Then I want to say her name is Angel. I can't be 100% sure. So, guys, if you did not like the video on your way in, please like the video on your way out. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now. Oh, and before I get off of here, guys, last year I kind of did something special for my subscribers for Christmas. I think it was the week before Christmas Eve. This year, I want to kind of do something special for my loyal subscribers for New Year's Eve. Um, Typically, I don't go anywhere on New Year's Eve. So, that's just my time to be safe, stay at home, cook up a lot of food, order up a lot of food, eat good, drink good, whatever the case may be. So, New Year's Eve, I believe that's when I think I want to do something special for my loyal subscribers. So, we'll talk about that more a little bit later. So, look forward to that. I believe some of you guys know who you are, but just in case you don't, let me just go ahead and shout a few of you guys out. And that would be Mama Bees, my top girl, my moderator, Sharon Gottball, CC, Soundcheck Annette, Paula, you guys, and there's a lot more, but those are the ones that I consistently see in my chat on a regular basis and that really support my channel. There's lots more, but I'm just saying these are my regulars, okay? My top five, okay? So I definitely want to do something special for them for the new year. So, guys, just be on the lookout for that. And again, thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.